Welcome back to Swan Dive, Red Strings, Part 4. Last we met old friends, Griff found himself another band of compatriots, now swimming in friends and ties, just waiting to be severed. After a night of playing hero, and finally being one, he found in the Silver Quarter the grisly outcome Gertrisa has incurred. But before we can find ourselves at Gertrisa's brightening, we must first go back and follow the intrepid Willow as her wide-eyed optimism leads her to the hollowed halls of Spire journalism. Same mistake many have made before her. The pressure of her family and the interwoven lies she lives are coming to a head, and at the top of the Spire lies a secret, spelling the beginning of the end of the mission Willow and the rest of the cell have half-wittingly pledged themselves to. A mission far larger in scale than they ever could have imagined. We return to the Silver Quarter. Opulent, filled with gambling, drinking. Nestled within this particular quarter is a moderately priced housing. For Aelfir standards, at least, and especially for Aelfir students attending the University of Divine Magic not too far away. One of these particular apartment blocks, the Broken Pearl String, has one particular occupant we are all a little bit familiar with, one Willow. Now, Willow has spent most of the day hunting down Patrocles, interviewing him to a degree of success, discovering that perhaps these monkey-themed terrorists we have encountered may perhaps be related to a series of shape-shifting individuals making strikes against parties across the Spire. However, along with a healthy dose of awkwardness, Willow did not get a whole lot else. So, she spent the day, I believe, drinking, and finishing her report for Mr. Guntersound on her time and experience firsthand witnessing the Spiral Soiree, the talk of the Spire. So, Willow, you stumble home, tipsy as could be.
Yeah, Willow comes back into her apartment, shuts the door behind her very dramatically, crouching, sort of, looking around, and then I think she spots Arya asleep on the couch. She's like, stupid fucking bitch. Asleep again. I don't want to wake the fucking dragon. I think she's just gonna sneak on back to her room, trying not to wake up the dragon, as it were.
Should I make you sneak?
Yeah, make me roll a sneak. I think you should make it difficult,
yeah, you're drunk.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, difficulty 2.
Okay.
That's how much of a dick I am today.
Nice. No, I think that's perfectly reasonable. Trying to sneak whenever you're drunk is shit. I imagine she maybe passed by, a fair or something like that on the way home. The Silver Quarter being as lively as it is, I imagine there's just, shit on the street that can pull you in.
Big party carnival or something.
Okay.
People dressed up.
So this will be, if it's difficulty 2, and I only had 1 die to begin with. Oh wait, we're in is this high society?
High society.
Oh, would you look at that?
Oh my gosh. Well, somehow you managed to be stealthy as a mouse. I want to give that lovely description.
Yeah, Willow, taking her foot and, I don't know how to describe this, on point, stepping down each one and rolling through. Just very stealthily creeping by Arya.
Ballet training, facade put her through.
Making mocking faces at her as she passes by.
Nice. Okay, I think you get into your room, and there's a package waiting for you on your bureau.
I don't remember ordering anything, so this maybe it's a present. I'm gonna open up my I think I deserve this. Honestly, after the week I've had, I think I deserve whatever this gift from the universe it is. I'm gonna open it.
It's a scented package.
Ooh.
And it's very pleasantly oaky tree, very earthy.
Oh.
It's beautifully wrapped in a magnificent twine. And it's wrapped in just the most elegant, lightly bleached paper.
Oh, my. This is so beautifully presented. I almost feel bad. She, carefully unties the, twine and just unwraps the paper without tearing it. Or tries to, at least.
Yeah, I think you can't do that. Yeah, you probably try.
Fuck, god damn it.
Yeah,
I ruined everything I touch. Why is it? Like, it's okay, I gotta push through. I got a present waiting for me at the end. It's okay.
It's probably not too bad. You could you probably barely tear it, but yeah, it probably feels apocalyptic. Just you're drunk, and it's delicate, beautiful little...
Yeah.
Like 30 layers of, like, beautiful, delicate tissue. And yeah, inside is a very small box, rounded edged laminate wood. This has been made with care, and inside is a beret with a single feather on it, a long feather, elegant and multicolored, pushed through a leather brim. And if you lift it up, underneath is a letter stained scarlet. Yeah, and you know exactly what this letter is from. His letters always look like this.
Oh, I can't. She puts the hat on her head, like, crookedly, like, just with one hand. It's probably, like, sitting there lopsided. She's, like, crying, and she looks at the letter. This is just what I need. He's gonna give me money.
You open up the card to reveal that it has 5 words on it altogether. Large, a scrawling's overwrought script. Be there soon, sweetie. Dash, daddy.
Fuck!
And yeah, there's nothing else in the box. And yeah, you know that this is your father weaves silk facade.
Oh, shit. Okay, no. When is soon? God damn it, Daddy! You could at least give me like a date. Well, most people's fathers would put like a, hey, I'm leaving, and like a soon. I could be out the window right now. What? She like glances out the window.
Luckily, nobody.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay. She like puts the hat on her bureau. And yeah, I think she just sort of, okay, I'm just gonna put all this back. I'm gonna put the package back on the. I'm gonna go back to sleep, and when I wake up in the morning, there's gonna be nothing there. And then I'm gonna get a letter tomorrow, and it's gonna be from Dad. It's gonna say, everything's going fine, and here's the money that you need, and it's gonna be. Yeah.
And the night passes by. Unfortunately, when you awaken, the letter is still there.
Fuck!
But the hat is too. It's beautiful. What colors are kind of purpley?
Yeah.
So maybe it's like, maybe that's kind of green. What? Oh.
A cream. Is what I said.
Oh, cream? I said,
yeah.
Okay. That's perfect too. Yeah, cream. Maybe the feather has, like some, kind of giving it like some Ava. Like, it's got some like lime, almost like lime pastel green in it. That sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can tell this is probably from like one of the native birds from, Greater Brassicot. No? Deepest Brassicot. Yeah. Boom! Yeah. And it's been clearly like preserved. It doesn't really move anymore. Like it wouldn't move in the wind, but it's been preserved in a way that makes it look, beautiful, fully flushed.
Oh, Daddy, it's beautiful. Yeah, she puts it on. Looks in the hat. Looks in the mirror with pride. And she's like, I still think I look stupid in hats, but I'll wear it today for posterity, because I don't know when he's going to be showing up, and I feel like I should be wearing it. Okay. Her head turns toward the front door.
Luckily, it's yours.
Okay. And she, opens up the door.
Yeah, it's Arya. She's fully dressed. Looks like she's ready to go to class. Kind of probably in sort of like a psychotic Aelfir variant of like a traditional like school uniform. So like, like a knee-length skirt that has like foil accents and like some sort of like gold tinged like neck ribbon. Maybe it just like is like it's like a rigid golden necklace in the shape of a ribbon. Yeah, just like this psychotic Aelfir rendition of a school uniform. Big bag. And she's in her true mask as regular. What do you think would be a good true mask for Arya? Something like extravagant, obviously.
Something like gold with crystals.
Yeah, I like something. That. Maybe it has like crystal icicles kind of below the eyes, from below the brow, and that's sort of like what it is to complete it. And above that, it's just like shimmering gold. Leads to like a crest, big top bun. She's got like a ballerina sort of body, like super tall and gangly and thin. And yeah, she's just sort of looking at you with her bag in hand.
What do you want?
I'm going to church tonight. It's sort of a big thing.
Good for you.
Do you want to come?
What, is this some sort of, like, trick or something? Why are you asking me? I thought you fucking hated me or something.
Of course, I hate you. Luckily, the Pantheon doesn't, and I feel like you need to get out of this house. I'm worried about you. I haven't seen anybody around here in months. And since you dropped out of school, no one around has seen you either.
Oh, yeah. You have no idea. Why, just the other night, I was at... You're right. I have not been going anywhere as of late. As a matter of fact, I felt that perhaps I should be attending more Solar Pantheon worships. Anyway, perhaps I should be more devout. Thank you for the invitation. Oh, yeah.
And?
Did you make breakfast? What?
Are you coming or not?
Yes, of course. That's what I just said, yeah.
Oh, well, be more explicit. Meet me here around, I don't know, 11?
Okay, so at night?
11 at night, yeah. It's a late service. It's a brightening.
Can I use nose for trouble?
Sure. I don't know if you know, because maybe you've heard this term once or twice. I mean, I'll give you this bone. I don't know if this is, because you went to school, so maybe not necessarily something you've attended, but it's sort of like we're not Jewish individuals, but we've heard of a bar mitzvah, right? It's in that ballpark. It's a religious event that takes place in the Solar Pantheon, and you know it is something like a religious celebration in between like a baptism and an auto da fe.
Okay, I still want to use nose for trouble just to see like what is weird or out of place.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If there's nothing, then it's
nudging you to say that there's nothing out of I mean there could be, but I'm trying to make this one shoot straight.
Okay, all right.
I mean, the thing out of place is, like, maybe Arya's being nicer than she's usually being, but also religion, so...
Okay. Yes, Arya, it would be a pleasure to attend with you tonight. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. I'll see you soon. Don't get in too much trouble, and... Look, if you come home drunk again, at least take your shoes off. You tracked mud all over the floor.
Well, I don't... okay, that's reasonable. I'm sorry.
And she stomps off.
Whew. Okay. Let's see if what I wrote wasn't utter trash. She picks up her little article for Mr. Guntersound, reads back through it. Like, I think this is submittable. All right. Let's do it. All right, let's go. Yeah. And I'm going to go turn in the paper for Mr. Guntersound. I'm going to try to head on down to the works, I think.
Yeah. Heading down Spire is always, easier than heading up Spire. Another one of my favorite words, you can get a mega corvid and ride down.
Oh, and she, of course, brushes her hair, changes her clothes from the ones from the night before. Not just like a drunken mess before she leaves.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, dressed up in new outfit, new beret, looking nice, spiffy, clean, with a finished article. I feel like she has a ponytail in my head.
No, with the beret you gotta wear it. It'd be perfect to have just like the curls down.
That's true, the curls down.
Especially
but also
with
there's something
little bit longer than chin length hair.
There's like something very chipper about ponytail and beret. But I'll go with chin length.
I'll settle for a tiny little side ponytail.
Okay. Yeah, we're compromising here. Okay, and yeah, you make your way down Spire. Beautiful Maker Corvid ride. You're still pretty affluent, I think, even though you're still having to borrow money from your dad. Byronic. You got stuff stashed everywhere. And, yeah, you make it to the works, cut your way through. Luckily, you don't get pickpocketed. And you make it to, the massive, monolithic works printing building. Slip your way up through the labyrinthine hallways and offices, making your way to, of course, the assistant of Mr. Guntersound, who recognizes you immediately. And looks at the ledger, says... Mr. Guntersound is free for a moment. You can go in.
Thank you.
Very welcome. And she just buzzes you in. It's not a normal buzzer. It's a magic bell with you get what I'm saying. The doors swing open. And within is, of course, the massive desk, very reminiscent of the building itself, leading to his power office window, floor to ceiling, leading out to one of the largest views of the works itself. One of the largest, floor to ceiling sections of the entirety of the Spire. So it's kind of breathtaking in comparison to even the Silver Quarter. It's probably double the height of the Silver Quarter in my mind. And yeah, just sprawling views of the massive filter fans and various galvanic devices at the top of the ceiling, sucking up the huge bellowing clouds of smoke and industry, powering up through the hundreds and hundreds of factories through the miles and acres that make up the works. There, writing, very focused, still very much Mr. Guntersound, is Mr. Guntersound.
Mr. Guntersound?
Yes.
My complete account of the events of the Spiral Soiree bombing from the other night, as requested, and she pridefully places it down on his desk.
Well, I am surprised you got this finished so soon, young Willow.
What can I say? I am a prolific writer.
Well, I will have to read it. Thank you for the work.
Of course. Anytime. I do hope that you will request more work from me in the future.
Well, young Willow, that is perhaps what will happen. This article seems... kind of scans it a little more. Very appropriate. And most of what we publish is drivel.
I suppose that's a compliment. Thank you, sir. I suppose you said that if I wait around a little bit, that,
Long silence. Longer silence.
Did you want me to just wait by a little bit? Did you mean...
Yeah.
Do you want me to wait in, the waiting room?
Longer silence. Okay, I have read it. I like it.
Of course you do. What can I say?
Please, calm yourself.
Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry.
Opens a drawer, pulls out a sheet of paper, fills it out, slides it across the desk. Signs that.
Okay, yeah, she does so.
Congratulations. You are now a published journalist.
Oh,
He rolls it up and sticks it in his desk. This
is probably one of the best things that could ever come out of blindly signing something without reading it. Why, thank you, sir. Thank you. This is one of my dreams. Thank you, sir.
Writes on another smaller pad of paper, pulls that off and hands that to you.
What's this?
Your first payment order. Gives that to his secretary.
Okay. She gives a little salute. Will do. Thank you, sir. Is there anything else that you need from your newest journalist?
Another story.
Oh? About anything in particular, or?
Look, I assume if you understand how I got you this particular story in your lap, you understand the genre I work within, yeah?
Yeah. The electrifying, scandalous events that everybody wants to read about, things like that?
Roughly.
Sort of like muckraking and stuff like that?
I am the editor of the shocking, scandalous scintillation section. I think you should be able to put one and one together.
Of course, yeah, you want things that are shocking or scandalous or scintillating. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I am perfectly fine. I did not have anything to drink last night, as I am a responsible citizen and will be a very good worker for you.
Yeah.
So I'll write you a story that's scintillating and scandalous, and it's going to be perfect and great.
Yes, it will be.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
No, I don't believe so. Oh, any leads that you want me to start with?
Kind of smirks. I assure you, if I have leads, I am pursuing them myself.
Okay. All right. No, I respect that, sir. That's cool. That's a boss game. I'll be on my way now. Thank you. I think I've made enough of a fool of myself today.
He kind of cocks a head and then shakes his head. It goes back to writing what he was writing to begin with.
Sir, Griff's a good kid. I'm glad that you brought him on and, took him under your wing and all that. And I'm grateful to him for getting me this position. I just thought I should say that.
You should be. He is a good kid.
Well, have a good one. She gives another little salute and heads out the door.
Yeah, gives a little half-hearted wave. And, out you go. Give the slip to the assistant. They give you a small pouch of Sten, and you are on your way back into the streets of the works, now free and open. The entire Spire before you. Where's Willow thinking about going?
I think I'm going to head back to the Solar Basilica where we had originally talked to when he sows the seedlings, the Archdeacon.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you head that direction, and luckily it's early as fuck. And it is right before early morning service for the Solar Pantheon, and the Basilica is packed. I mean, everybody's really who worships comes into this primary chamber, like the largest Catholic church you've ever seen times 10. The voice of the speaker being amplified through magic, and of course, being at the point where the magic amplification doesn't work, literally being echoed by other speakers to, like, literally speakers, like people that are listening and screaming it out loud at a slight delay. Just a bizarre mass sermon. And you can see the person speaking, none other than when Minnie sows the seedlings. Both Great Baron of the Ivory Row and, as of now, head of the Solar Basilica as a drow, an extreme upset in his time. And a side note here, if you are a reader of Spire and a regular of the lore, when is an extreme deviation from the regular lore, smushing together both the regular Archdeacon presented in the book and the individual present that is a part of the church that, you know, is the original Ivory Row guy. I'm sorry, my memory fails me. Yes, I did sort of smush them together. Please don't yell at me. Okay, anyways. Yeah, and you find yourself able to, you can find seats. Fair enough. This is a mega church of mega churches.
Yeah, all right. I'm just going to hang back and listen for a little bit. I would like to use Nose for Trouble here.
Ooh!
See what's strange or out of place. And then I may use another ability, but we'll see.
Dangling high above the Archdeacon, mounted where in a similar, maybe a Catholic setting would be sort of like a picture of Christ or something like that, right? Is a cage, an artful, magnificent cage, round and gilded, covered in porcelain accoutrement. Within, a rampaging, screaming gnoll. He's silenced somehow. There's something resembling glass in between the bars, and there's a soft magic pulsing from it. And within, this gnoll thing is encrusted in what appear to be barnacles. He's something like the crew members of the Flying Dutchman. He's partly taken by the sea, and his fingers, you can see, rake against the sides of the glass, and water has pooled at the bottom. And you can see there's been a hastily installed siphon of some kind that runs off elsewhere. And as the sermon continues, you see this gnoll thrash and bang against the side of the cage softly swaying and jostling as he does that. Again, completely silent, and whatever jangling the cage may be making is completely overtaken by the sound of the sermon itself.
Sister fucking Spring. She starts, like, furiously scribbling about this in her note in her journal. But otherwise, I don't think that she's in a position to do anything just yet, at the very least.
Okay.
I'm just gonna wait and listen to a little bit more of the deacon's sermon, see if there's anything out of place about what he's saying. But if it's just a standard, like, reading.
From what you're hearing, he's, from the gist of the speech that you've kind of been hearing in the background here, it seems to be pretty, standard solar pantheon, like belief in the light and about making sure to find exposure to the sun and understanding the gifts that it's bringing, understanding the beauty that the change that now you guys are facing as you move from fall into winter that's approaching, in preparation of the first snow, to move your worship over to Mother Winter, of course, to prepare for the mildest winter possible. And he eventually does mention something very interesting.
Belief forward, and if we do not, you will find yourself the same fate of Grind Peter here, who will be executed atop the spire with a new, magnificent creation under the watch of the Everqueen, on visit to lay eyes upon the glory the church has rendered.
So, yeah, I'm writing that down in my journal. And other than that, I'm just going to wait out this sermon.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch more, sort of general churchy stuff. I think that's the only particularly interesting part. And eventually, the basilica starts to trickle empty. Takes a while, it seems like Wynn is walking around and talking to people. He's kissing babies on the forehead and, doing the regular church bullshit.
And I think I'll wait for a good opportunity and then reintroduce myself. Archdeacon Wynn.
Turns,
Pardon me.
Eventually, kind of finished kissing a baby on the forehead. Young Willow.
That was an excellent sermon, if I may say, Archdeacon.
Thank you. It comes from the heart. I barely prepare anything. It comes streaming forth from me, granted from the Pantheon.
What an exciting opportunity it is that the Everqueen is coming to visit the Spire this very next week.
Yes. Brine Beater was quite the capture. She's excited to see her.
How did Brine Beater come to be captured in the first place? Do you know?
The new job front. An excellent siege, led by one of our finest.
Who would that be?
Etched in glass, or just Sergeant Glass. He's had life-extending surgery. An incredible man. He disposed of, thousands of them, using special tactics units. I shouldn't say too much there. Well, nonetheless, young Willow, he was defeated, bringing forth the power of the far southern sea, as you may be able to tell from his histrionics up there. He has quite the power.
Yes, it would appear so. Is it really necessary to have him strung up like that in front of everybody? Is that it sort of seems like it goes against that whole sermon about love and light,
He's killed thousands. I can't say that we have any more mercy left for him, and neither does the sun.
That's reasonable.
I think so too. Are you going to attend?
Of course. I think that any upstanding citizen and anybody who had attended this wonderful sermon of yours would be nothing but compelled to attend such a monumentous occasion. And of course, seeing the Everqueen in person, that's an opportunity I can't pass up.
A wise girl you are.
Thank you. I do try. And I am sorry if we got off on the wrong foot last time.
No. I presume I will get my payment soon.
I think now I would like to use Do It for the Story. Because it has to be an NPC I'm talking to.
No. I'm with you. Is it a roll?
Yeah, I have to roll occult and then whatever domain I'm in.
Okay. Religion. We're in religion. That's a domain.
Okay. All right, that's a 7.
All right. Give me a D4 reputation stress.
The image is that Willow subtly takes out her journal again and writes, looking at the deacon.
He steps forward and grabs you by the wrist. In fact, I would really like a promise, Willow. And he pulls you towards him, looks you dead in the eyes, probably 2 inches away.
I feel like Willow's looking around to see if anybody's seeing this.
Oh, the Elfie are just okay.
Yeah, she looks back at him.
I would love assurance that I'm getting my payment soon. For the sun believes in reciprocation for all it gives.
Payment?
Yes. I wanted somebody to disappear.
Yes, well that's in progress.
He releases your arm. And how far along is this progress?
Tough to say, isn't it? It's not exactly any rigid metric.
No, it isn't, Willow. But for both our sakes, but particularly yours, could you approximate one for me?
What do you do if I don't? Break my arm in front of everybody?
No. No, don't be silly. We're not barbarians. I am a follower of the church. I simply demand justice, as any man would. But if you deny it to me, that is fine. The sun will sort us all out in the end. And his eyes, deaden.
Okay. I thought you were supposed to be a leader of the church, not a follower.
I am a servant, the same as us all. We all follow the sun, you presumptuous child.
Yeah, she just turns and walks away without saying anything.
Or, walks to another parishioner. And, you exit the basilica, I presume.
Okay, yeah. I think on my way back, kind of a hilarious image given the context, but I had this plan. I'm gonna stop at a bakery. Just pissed as shit. Get some donuts, maybe angrily eat some, think about what had just happened, kind of ruminate and worry about what her next move is. And I'm also going to see if fuck it. Can I please, by chance, stop into a certain bakery?
Oh god, where are you right now? You're all the way up into the basilica. You'd have to go
fuck,
all
you're
the
right.
way down
Shit,
to
damn.
Blueport. Yeah.
You're okay. I wish, though.
I mean, if you had a reason to meet somebody down there, you reasonably could.
I could just is it too much of a stretch of an imagination to say that Willow would remember the name of the bakery that had catered the Spiral Soiree?
I don't know. Was there any context in which you guys saw Griff get into that wagon?
Yeah, and I saw him with the uniform.
And he was there, you talked to him in the uniform. Mm-hmm. And I feel like eventually, within all that, and maybe Griff talked about it a little bit. Maybe not even, within the context of the story. Just we can imagine now that in sort of the spaces in between, he talked about his time with Lewis and about, the bakery and that sort of thing. So I don't think it's that much of a stretch that you could do the same sort of investigation Griff was able to do pretty quickly.
Okay.
And since you're not doing it with any time restraint, I think you can find it.
Yeah, and I'm not looking to necessarily get any information here. It's just for fun,
Yeah, you can go down to Blueport.
Yeah.
I think the best use of time would be maybe to invite somebody there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that would be a good. Yeah, I think I'm going to invite Patrocles and apologize to him for the events of yesterday, how our little monkey conversation ended so abruptly, with Willow crying and running out and yelling about her grandma's mother's bodyguard's dog's birthday party, etc.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty easy to give a letter to his gateman, who probably says he's busy, but yeah, and then just to kind of meet you at that bakery, and maybe you poke around, you're smarter than Griff, you just literally ask another elf, you're do you perhaps know where this is? And yeah, they know where it is, it's Lewis's Bakery. It's really close to the Elven District, which is the only district in Blueport with required masks. This is also the home district of Bright Yearling, Deacon Bright Yearling, one of the other Deacon candidates. And yeah, Lewis's Bakery is sort of just on the edge. And lo and behold, doesn't take a super long time, you ride back down, you've been traveling quite a bit in the Spire today. But just for kind of the sake of convenience, we'll say there you start to get there towards the sort of late afternoon, 5 o'clock, 5:30ish.
All right.
And yeah, of course you get there first. And I don't think Carl's there, the guy, the kind of gruff guy, but I think Lewis is manning the counter. Well, hello there, lass. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful today, sir, and yourself?
Excellent. That's a beautiful little hat you have there.
Why, thank you. As a matter of fact, I just got it in the mail from my daddy just last night.
Well, it seems he loves you very much.
Oh, he does. Thank you.
Well, how can I help you, pretty lady? Would you like a cake or something? We got a handful of those. Luckily.
I'm actually here to sample your beignets.
Oh,
if you've got them.
A beignet. Well, I don't have any on display. That's a very strange specialty product. I believe that's aliquam drowish.
Oh, well, they're a gift for a friend, he sees. Somebody that had a particular craving for him at the party the other night, and...
No. Say no more. For a friend? Why, I'll whip up anything you need, lass. Yeah, why, you just give me, 45 minutes, 50 minutes? I probably need to let the dough rise a little bit, and, I'm gonna get you some dang beignets.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. It'll be so perfect to have them fresh baked.
Oh, that's no problem at all. Why, that's what you pay for.
And I'll be sitting here waiting for my friend as well, so it'll be perfect. I'll just sit right over here at this corner and
I'll bring those
get my
right
notes
out.
together. Thank you, sir.
Oh, no problem. Some coffee? Would you like some, I don't know, some cream tea? Something like that?
Oh, cream tea sounds just lovely, sir. Thank you.
Well, I'll whip up some food in just a second for you, young lady. Why, you just sit down. Well, we're having sort of a slow day today, so you're my guest of honor today.
Oh, thank you, sir. Why, how delightful. Yeah, just
He kind of puffs his chest and walks back to the kitchen.
I love that guy. Wow.
And after, 10, 15, 20 minutes, in stumbles the most disheveled Patrocles you've seen yet. Wearing sort of like, a high-collared military coat that's wrinkled to fuck. Kind of got a puffy undershirt on. His hair sort of, roughly in that sort of pushback. Like as close to a realistic Phoenix Wright haircut as you can get. Like big high trousers and big stupid clunky like boots that look like they're lined with fur, like medieval Uggs.
No, I'm picturing him and he's wretched and horrible and I love him.
And he's got a big club strapped to his thigh. Not a big one, like a decent sized club. Just kind of stumbles in.
Patrocles, over here. Are you...
Willow!
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just having a day.
Oh, well, hopefully our little dinner here can help you relieve some stress for this day. Here, sit down. Lewis is baking some fresh beignets for us.
Oh.
I figured since the other night at the party you asked me to bring you one, and then I sort of kind of forgot about that. I would make it up to you a little bit, and also to make up for yesterday.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your thoughtfulness now. Young Willow, I'm gonna just sit down. Imagine after you said the thing, you just said I made an innuendo too, something like that. And he sits down.
Oh.
Like a joke, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just imagine that for me, please.
Patrocles, if you don't mind me asking, what's wrong? Can I make a compel?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let's see how well you compel him.
What are our domains?
This is high society. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah. Like I said, you're close to the Elven District, and Lois definitely he's like an upscale, gentrified sort of place that's meant to appeal to like an upscale neighborhood that's just on the edge of his part of the neighborhood, if that makes sense.
All right.
I feel like this is a very super specific thing that you and I understand.
Well, I got a 6.
Ooh. Okay, give me a D4, reputation again.
Okay. All right. That puts my total stress at 4.
Okay. Okay, you're good.
Okay.
And he kind of looks up and you can finally, look into his eyes again for once. And you can see, again, rare for Aelfir. Aelfir have a bizarre nature of always speaking to the true mask. Kind of the mask meant to represent their soul. Kind of goes occasionally changed, but largely rigid throughout their lives. And no matter what masks they're wearing, they always have their true mask on them somewhere. They tend to look at that instead of the eyes. But yeah, Patrocles, oddly enough, tries to look in your eyes for a second.
Yeah. Absolutely meeting his gaze, giving him a concerned look.
It's been difficult after the spiral soiree. I had a difficult reputation before, you see. Not to offend you, but had you not come along, I don't know if I would have found anyone to come along with me to that particular soiree. In fact, getting an invitation was something of a blessing to begin with. And afterwards, well, I've been hounded. Out of home, it seems some ex-co-workers of mine. Well, at least that's what I believe. The papers claim it was hooligans, but someone has burned down my home, and,
Oh, Patrocles.
No, it's fine. I still have plenty, but nonetheless, it is an unpleasant knock to my reputation to lose my family manor.
That's horrible, Patrocles. Do you have anywhere to stay?
Yes, I do.
Oh, well, I just have no idea how to respond to that. Is there anybody that might, have something out for you?
Kind of looks around. Excuse me, proprietor!
His name is, Lewis.
Proprietor Lewis!
You can just call him Lewis or Mr. Lewis.
And eventually I come around the corner. Oh, yes, hello. How are you? I suppose these beignets are yours. And you see, he's like flour dusted and, all that good stuff.
Why, yes, this is my friend Patrocles. Unfortunately, he's been a bit down on his luck lately, so these should be a big help.
Oh! Oh! I recognize you, Mr. Patrocles. It's a pleasure to have you in my shop.
Nose for trouble.
How often can you use that?
Once per scene.
Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, Lewis is clearly immediately uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Patrocles also seems to clearly respond and, kind of sits back down. No, it's fine, friend.
Do you two know each other?
No. I've simply read about our friend Mr. Patrocles here in the papers. He's a paladin. Did you need something, friend? Yes, is this, a secure place? Would you mind if we lock the doors? I need to speak about something incredibly private. I will pay for your secrecy. Oh, that's no problem, boy. Why, yes, I can lock on up. Give me just a moment. Kind of, walks around the counter, steps out, locks the doors, etc. Steps around, kind of Patrocles watches him in silence. And, Lewis doesn't meet his gaze once. And, makes his way back to the kitchen. Well, Willow, if you're going to continue to associate with me, which I do appreciate, I suppose you should know something about my past. I, had to retire for a separate reason than the loss of my leg. I actually served for some time after I gained this particular replacement, designed by the humans. Crafty sort. I, had the audacity, as I may have mentioned, to fight for drow entrance to the paladins. Something of an absurd belief, inspired by a friend of mine. And, as such, I didn't make a whole lot of friends. Silly, I know. As such, there came a time when someone showed up dead on my watch. And my men framed me. They framed me for the murder. It got out in the papers, published rather widely. So I killed them, all 4 of them, in single combat. I brought them in front of their homes, and I chopped their skulls in half. I broke their fucking bones in front of their families, and I made an example of all 4 of them. And then, I never got another teammate. Suddenly I was doing a lot of paperwork. Suddenly I was doing a lot of telling widows that their husbands had passed on. So here I am, retired, something of a pension, with a handful of friends who still manage to talk to me, but on the whole, after the soiree, I believe I'm fairly high on the suspect list. Everyone believes the kid is lying. These monkey men, fucking absurd. There's a series of shapeshifters, as I told you, but again, practically urban myths at this point. We saw these idiots, but there's no guarantee they just weren't hard freaks. Either way, whoever hired them is the larger threat. I don't understand what they think I have to gain from this, but here I am. Now I don't know their names. I can't drag them out into the fucking street again.
Patrocles, you know what a journalist does?
Lies?
Hunts for truth. And, as a matter of fact, I happen to recently have become a published journalist myself. I'm gonna help you, Patrocles. I'm gonna find out whoever did this to you, and yes, what you did to those 4 men was, not the most morally upright thing you could have done, but clearly, there's something bigger at stake here. And the truth about the monkey men does need to come out. I mean, I am not crazy. We both saw them. Everybody saw them. I swear to God, Gertrude is... I digress. Patrocles, I'm very sorry that's happened to you, and I will continue to associate with you. You don't have to worry about that. Thank you for trusting me with all this. And we'll get to the bottom of this. I promise.
Well, You kiddos want your beignets?
He just been standing here.
Luckily, no. He's kind of in the distance, kind of
Okay.
talking, like peeking his head around the edge of the kitchen, kind of
Okay.
yelling.
Yes, we will take those beignets now. Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis.
All right. Kind of soft jogs. And here we go. Prink! And just like kind of soft jogs away. All right, you enjoy. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's also the same tray, like the cream tea. There's like 2 of those cream teas. Kind of, inspired by, you know, that like Thai milk tea.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yummy.
And, some food.
Here, get some of these warm, fresh beignets in your Patrick, please. It'll help warm you up.
Oh, thank you, Willow. Oh, this is very nice. And, tears one in half, starts kind of stuffing one in his mouth.
You should, steam up that coat of yours. Maybe get some starch in it or something like that.
Oh, yes, I've been a little preoccupied, unfortunately, but yes, soon, definitely.
Oh, no, I don't blame you at all. So, have you been continuing to assist the Paladins in their investigation?
No, after I became a suspect, I stepped down. I understood any association I have would not look good.
No, that makes
Reason
sense.
is already under the gun, and I don't want to assist individuals in having more blackmail material on him. He's a good man.
I think I might need to talk to Reese myself.
I can arrange that. I'm actually meeting him today.
Perfect. Wonderful. That would be excellent. Thank you, Patroclus.
If you do what you claim you can do for me, I assure you it's the least I can do in reciprocation.
Yeah, she slips a beignet under her mask.
Nice.
Eating.
And I feel like, for eating, this is the first time, this is the most of Patroclus' face you've ever seen, of course. Of course he has, like, a Hercules jaw. He's an Aelfir.
Willow is looking respectfully.
Stupid big himbo jaw. No slender wayfish boy here. This boy eats. Got the face bones of a World War II, like, I'm just here to serve my country, sir! You finish up the beignets, and Patroclus stands to pay, and Lewis comes up. Oh! No. Keep your money now, Mr. Patroclus. I hate to see someone like yourself have to pay.
Oh, don't worry about here. I can, Mr. Lewis, it's the least I can do.
No, please. You're fine, just, maybe keep it to yourself that you came here, Mr. Patroclus. No offense. And he pushes the money back across the counter and steps back away into the kitchen.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Have a good day.
I wish there was like a medieval ACAB, because Lewis would say it here. And he disappears in the kitchen.
So, Patroclus, when is this meeting exactly? Are we fast approaching the time, or...?
Probably about an hour out, something like that.
Oh. Well, if we've got about an hour to kill, shall I meet you there, or...?
No, in an hour I'm certain that, no offense, probably don't exactly have access to resources to make it up Spire that quickly.
So I guess we're just gonna hang out for an hour then?
Well, I suppose we can get there early. He's supposed to be showing me something.
Okay. Alright, yeah, sounds good.
Something of a secret, so we're going to have to be a little quiet about it. That's why I got into civilian clothing. I don't think you should stick out too much. The hat is rather extravagant, but it should be fine.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to take extravagant as a compliment because it is a rather wonderful hat and one of a kind and perfectly, just crafted for me by my father. So thank you.
Of course. Let's head out then. I have a private crystal elevator a friend owns we can take up.
Oh, alrighty. Let's head out then.
Excellent. But yeah, you guys make the walk. Pops another beignet in his mouth, a hole, like a little man. And you guys stumble out into the streets and back towards Center Spire. In the dead center of Spire, there's a single hole, like a drainage pipe, massive, it is a literal drainage pipe, both for sewage and drainage, and also corpses are chunked down there that aren't kept for the gardens that are too far gone that the fungus won't keep and that the Charnel worshippers don't get and all the other various corpse keepers need. And along that tunnel are the most expensive pieces of property in the entirety of the Spire, including the fastest and most opulent forms of travel, crystal elevators. magical technology derived from Everqueen magic, only operatable by the most highly trained Solar Pantheon magic users. A form of magic very rarely seen in the Spire, as typically it manifests fairly weakly, probably due to the same effects that make sure that no avatars of the Solar Pantheon can spawn within the Spire. However, operations of the Crystal Elevators still available. And yeah, you make your way through. There's probably, some guards vaguely dressed in like paladin-esque themes, but definitely not paladins. And Patroclus kind of shows some documents, and you make your way in. And it's this massive, octagonal shaft shooting straight up Spire. The inside is just essentially an octagonal chamber with one glistening panel covered in scintillating, shifting runes. And you step in, Patroclus paints the finger across certain runes, and whoop, up you go. Incredibly fast, like it buckles your knees, it's so fast.
Ooh! Grasps onto his bicep to steady herself.
And you feel him himbo flex. Yes. I suppose you've never been on a crystal elevator then.
Maybe once or twice, but wow, it sure is surprising every time.
Never gets old, does it? Nothing better than old country tech.
It certainly wakes you up.
So you were born in the old country, is that correct?
Yes. Why, yes. Unfortunately, my family had to leave after a while, but for research purposes, we had to move to deepest Brazzacot.
Oh.
Which is where I grew up.
How young?
I was about 5 years old.
Oh, well, that's, makes sense. Suppose that explains the accent, eh?
Yes, and of course I picked up my accent from my parents, both my parents. Yeah.
Oh, well, interesting. And, who are your parents, by the way? I've never been up north nor to the deepest Brazzacot, but perhaps some family, a line, something like that.
Oh, yes, Weave Silk Facade.
Oh, shit.
Yes, and, Sings of Clover. Sings of Clover is my mother's name.
Well, I've never heard of the Clover Lady, but geez Louise, Weave Silk Facade is your father.
Oh, yes. I take it you've heard of us.
I know that psychotic asshole.
Oh, well, that's one way of putting it.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. That's insane that your father is Weave Silk Facade. That is absolute...
And it's insane,
Your uncle!
Coming from you, a psychotic asshole, coming from the guy who,
Whoa.
given to... Well, I'm just saying, you have no room to... You're similar men in that regard, maybe. I don't...
Whoa, we're tapping into some pathological stuff. I am not equipped to get into here.
Not like that. Jeez, no, Patroclus, I'm not that...
No, I get what you're saying, but
Jesus,
I get what you're saying.
Sister fucking Spring, Patroclus.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult your father. He's just, he has the reputation that precedes him.
Really? Throughout the Spire?
Well, I don't know about throughout the Spire, but law enforcement, yes.
Oh, well, that doesn't particularly surprise me.
Not to mention his haberdashery was of some quality. And the story of his brother, I wouldn't say everyone knows, but Reeson himself was involved in that one.
The story of my uncle? What?
What do you mean?
Say what?
Do you not know what happened to Visage?
Unfortunately, no. My father was never keen on talking about that, and my mother always said it wasn't her place to tell.
He sent you to the Spire, not letting you know that your uncle was a member of the ministry of our hidden mistress.
What? That comes as a bit of a surprise, a shock. That comes up as a bit of a shock, Patroclus. What is that? Can you please tell me this story? I've wondered my entire life. I thought that maybe he just died of sickness. I didn't want to ask. My daddy always seemed really remorseful whenever he talked about him.
Well, I imagine he should be. He was bound in Carnadine, a karmic slave to a god, because he betrayed his brother.
Betrayed him?
Yes, he turned in his brother. Visage was running quite a large cell of ministry operatives out of their haberdashery. Seems Facade was covering it up for a good deal of time. Afterwards, he turned in his brother in attempts for immunity, but they weren't too keen on letting him off scot-free. So, they killed his brother, and he was branded by Incarn before they could fully enact their plans. He enacted a whole bunch more havoc throughout his days. He seemed primarily active in the heart, and then one day disappeared.
fucking spring! I'm gonna kill that bastard when he shows up. I'm gonna... Oh! That's... Oh! Huh. Thank you for telling me that. Thank you for telling me this, Patroclus.
I'm sorry I had to be the one to tell you. I'm astounded. Genuinely astounded he would let you come here without telling you his past. A paladin worth his medal is going to understand. Wait. You changed the heart to a degree.
Oh?
I mean, in tandem with several other of the kind of sickos that spend their time delving into that thing.
What exactly did he do, do you know? They don't exactly talk very much about those days either.
It seems as if there was a sort of possessed skeleton king? I guess that's the easiest way to put it from what I hear. Some sort of evil creature king thing that inherited his debt from Incarn. One of those sort of karmic deals. And from what we understand, it seems as if he came fairly close to destroying it. Not exactly clear on that particular part, and tales change person to person, but one way or the other, it doesn't seem as if that individual's operatives are found that often around the heart anymore, so something changed one way or the other.
Ah, I see. Thank you. Thank you for telling me all this. Wow, I came here in search for information about other people and found out more about myself and my family. That's... wow.
I feel strange that I am the one to tell you about this, Willow. I wish you would have told me beforehand.
What? Told you what? That I didn't know about the fact that...
About your lineage.
Well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I knew that my daddy was a haberdasher. I knew that his brother was too. I knew that my family was a line of haberdashers dating far back into the northern kingdoms, etc., etc., but I...
Of course, but did he not tell you he spent time here? And did he not tell you that he had to flee?
He said he had a shop here, and that eventually he had to close down business, and that brought him to the heart, and that he spent some time down there, a little bit. I just never was able to get any particulars out of him, other than his stories of shooting monsters and stuff like that would make him look cool.
Well, I suppose he probably did shoot monsters. And, I don't know about cool, but he certainly left a trail of corpses behind him.
I see. I suppose I'll have an interesting conversation to look forward to, then.
I suppose so. And then by now, the elevator stops. And yeah, you have made it entirely to the top. The crystal elevator opens to a very dimly single guard staffed outpost around this crystal elevator at the very top of its length. And outside, this is new heaven. The smell hits you immediately. Rotting carrion. Fucking disgusting. Every dumpster, every landfill, anything you've ever smelled that contained rot and decay, new heaven contains times 10. And it's dotted with small citadels, including, of course, the primary place of worship, the pinnacle. The highest point in all of Spire, surrounded by, in the distance, you can see, of course, carrion priests, massive vultures mounted on their arms, and hyenas tearing into their feast. And, Patroclus reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small bag, hands it to you. Smelling salts, if you want to cover up the scent.
Thank you. Ugh. Yeah, I think she stuffs them into her hat, like kind of wads her hat up a little bit unnecessarily hard, and uses that to press up against her mouth.
I breathe through your mask.
Mask, right. Yeah.
It's, definitely helps cover it. And he takes you. And you see, the pinnacle is no longer the highest point on the top of New Heaven. When you were flying in, probably a year ago at this point, something like that. 2 years ago?
Yeah, I would say, probably 2 years ago.
Yeah, this is probably not in construction. But now, it clearly is. And all that is constructed is simply 2 bars. They're spaced quite a ways apart. But they arc at least 30 feet above the pinnacle itself. And if you trace the line down, you can see it ends in a massive canvas, almost like a tent. Clearly like a hidden construction site. And that itself is the single most guarded and most sparse. There's nothing around it. It's clean area in New Heaven. And you can see it at a distance. No corpses, no birds, just this tent and these 2 poles. Watch yourself. These carrion priests are about as disgusting as it gets.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you for the warning.
No problem. Corpse-eating freaks. Keep walking. And yeah, he leads you, hand on his club. He takes it out and is kind of fiddling with it and like popping it in his hand. Just being a dude bro about it. And leads you all the way to this tent. Once again, talks to the guards and they wave you through. This tent is massive. Again, it's like the size of a carnival, like high top. And yeah, within a construct. A massive machine. Bound between these two poles is something like an elevator car. Massive, rectangular, and spanning the entire width. Half exposed, still filled with galvanic technology, and massive engines sit next to this big thing. Also, not probably 2/3, 3/4 finished. Still big exposed part, but the plating is beginning to be put on, covered in porcelain, matching the same beautiful gilded style of the basilica. And you can see that there's something in the center of this rectangle. And there's two of them. Sorry, there's two of these, of course. One on the ground and one sitting on top of the other. And then at the center, there's far more sort of these builders than there are elsewhere. Well. Progress is coming along swimmingly.
It's quite an amazing feat of ingenuity. When was this begun?
Probably about a year and a half ago, I'd say. It's quite possibly the pinnacle of Wynn's time as Archdeacon.
It's incredible. Say, do you happen to know anything about why there's a re-election at the moment? I thought that those didn't happen unless somebody were to retire or die.
Interesting question, Willow. Honestly, I don't know. Perhaps Reeson will know more. Have you lost interest in this bad boy over here? The thing. He gestures wildly to the machine in the center of the room.
Oh no, of course. What is that?
Let me show you. I don't think Reeson would mind that. And kind of steps over, takes you over, and kind of guides you to the center. To see the center, it almost looks like an MRI machine. And that at the center, there's like a big concave, like a half hemisphere, dug out in it, exposing all the way to where these two giant blocks meet, essentially establishing like a full half sphere indent, if this makes sense. It is, at the smallest point, gapped. But in between the gaps are these galvanic rails, these very thin, spindly rails. And all the gaps come together at a place where it looks like somebody lies down and places their head. Patrocles kind of squats a little, looks at this whole mechanism, and kind of looks at this massive, what looks almost like a sermon dais that has a giant, dramatic, elven lever. Oh, it seems there's the controls. Rather pretty, in comparison to the rest of this mess.
So what is this contraption?
They haven't really given it a name yet. It's a killing device, I suppose. See, the person sort of lays there, and this blade is raised up these poles you see in the distance, and the blade in between is going to be powered by some sort of divine magic mixed with galvanic energy, so the blade itself is supposed to be able to pierce any material, anything brought before it. So, for now, they're simply calling it the machine.
Ominous?
Yes. I rather like it.
I can't say the same. That's, I suppose it's merciful?
I believe that's the intention. Brine beater is what it's being built for.
Ah. Yes.
Yes. If no one has informed you, he's something of a... well, a Nolish god.
So I've heard. He's some sort of Nolish sea god?
Yes, from the southern sea. You can blow his brains out and they'll suck back into his skull like time flows backwards. But this is supposed to sever beyond the material.
That's incredible in a horrifying way, I suppose.
Yes. All of us have objective souls, Willow. We have records of expeditions into the heavens. Within the heart lies cracks to dimensions and places that we can go beyond our bodies. So a simple blade, a simple bullet, why, that doesn't harm many of the denizens of this place, Willow. This will.
Yeah, I don't think she's a very good artist, but she's like sketching this contraption in her journal, I think, just to keep a record of, writing some notes about it. This is a side note. I don't think she really has anything else to say.
Okay, yeah. And of course, I guess, just to make it, in case I'm being too obscure, right, this is a guillotine.
Yeah.
It's like a guillotine, like the size of a city block, meant to kill a god.
Okay. That's fucking awesome. Yeah.
And yeah, eventually, after some sort of time passes, Reason appears around a corner, stepping up. Still, very simple, like, dress clothing, low collar. It may be military, but it's so subtle, you can barely tell. Again, in his very simple true mask. And he approaches, gives a soft wave to Patroclus, and kind of saddles up next to you guys.
Good evening, Major Reason.
Good evening, Willow. How are you?
Doing just fine this evening, I suppose. How are you?
I'm fine. I see you're gazing upon the machine.
Yes. It's quite a feat, I suppose. It certainly looks like a machine built for killing a god.
Yes. I'm glad it has impressed you.
That's one word for it.
That's what I'm going to take from it. It's the crowning jewel of Wynn, and his time as an archdeacon, and to murder a captured dog god. Pathetic.
Just curious, and forgive me if I'm overextending my boundary here. How do you feel about that, the execution of Brinebreaker?
Willow, I don't think I have to tell you that I'm not a fan of the current going-ons of the church. My nomination of Sunrise should come as a clear sign that I have no interest in this current path of events.
Well then, what brings us all here to this contraption on the top of this city?
I think it's very convenient that you managed to show up tonight. Do you have anywhere to be?
Not immediately.
Good, this shouldn't take too long.
Oh. Okay.
Kind of tilts his head to Patroclus. How are you this evening, Patroclus? Well, I'm fine. It's lovely to see you. Reason, thank you for coming to talk to me. I'm very sorry to hear about your home. It's a tragedy. Those men will be found. Thank you. And if you let me swing the axe myself, I of course would be willing. I don't know if I can tank my reputation any more than what I've done so far. Well, we'll see when it comes to that, won't we? Yes, I suppose we will. You don't agree with them killing Brine Peter? No, I don't, Patroclus. My friend, I want to introduce you, not to someone, barely even to something, to a group of people, and an idea that Willow and I have become very privy to.
Oh, Major Reason, I'm really glad that I almost did this myself just a few moments ago. I'm so glad I waited for... Continue.
Well, thank you for your patience, Willow. Patroclus. And out it comes. Yeah, he spills forth, and lets Patroclus know, the truth of the spiral soiree as known by him, and, of course, that he is, of course, in conspiracy with Nolcien and with you, that you are, working to rig the election, in Sunrise's favor. He does not reveal that you are in the ministry of our hidden mistress, however. Just that you are simply, working to make, put Sunrise in the throne, specifically to undermine the current structure. And after he finishes his tale, turns to you, Willow. Does that seem to cover it?
Patroclus, can I trust you?
Well, let's see. I am a piece of shit.
You're not making a great case for yourself here.
I'm working on it, I'm thinking. As far as Aelfir go, I feel as if I try. Everqueen influence is difficult to break. You grew up in the north, is that correct?
For a time.
I presume not far north, though.
Oh, no. By no means.
Did you ever meet the far northerners?
Why, no, I've heard tales, but...
Have you?
Well,
Reason
yes, I
interjects.
hear that they can be quite cruel, malignant, twisted.
No. Cruelty is more of the domain of Spire, Aelfir. We have pleasure at the forefront of our minds, at the behest of every other living creature on the face of Destera. No. High Northern Aelfir, they're a different creature entirely. We inherited gifts, Willow. I'm sure you understand. A long time ago, we sold something. All of us did. Those of us with... Well, to be truthful, it's not even blood. Those of us with ties. The beginnings of Aelfir, with solar pantheon taint. We're changed. We feel differently than the rest of these creatures, don't you see? We process. We reproduce differently. It's those damn sun gods.
Why, yes. I suppose so. Are you from the north as well, then?
No. I'm simply informed.
Oh. So, to answer my question as to whether or not I can trust you.
Honestly, I'm not a northern Aelfir anymore. At least influence, and I'm barely even a Spire Aelfir at this point. I've been abandoned by my family for pursuing the career path I did and rejecting the marriage candidate they gave to me. I was pushed out of the Paladins for the choices and beliefs I began to develop after my friendship with Reeson, and now I've been burned out of the entire situation and framed partially for a crime I have not committed. So, can you trust me, Willow? I don't know. I can be sort of a spineless piece of shit, and Mother Winter forbid I understand what anyone else is feeling or thinking at any given second, but I don't think there's anyone else in the Spire that I can trust more than you in this moment. I can't answer your question. Perhaps
That'll
that answer
do.
is
Patrick,
sufficient.
I think I know some friends that can help you in your situation. There's a particular reason I reacted to your story the way I did. See if you can guess. I know you're bright somewhere in there.
You and your strange friends are operatives of the Ministry of our Hidden Mistress.
What would you say if that were the case?
I would say that the Solar Pantheon hasn't done anything for me in 15 years. And at this point, the only person to show me any kindness beyond superficial public and social performance is you, who seems to find quite a lot of wisdom among the drow you spend your time with. So, I'd say, how can I help?
Excellent. I know how you can help, Patroclus. You can continue to be as useful as you have in introducing me to people. And, well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of extra protection on my side, in case things go south.
Well, you can find me, Willow. I'm always available. I may be able to see if I can drum up some bizarre technology. Of course there's Galvanic messenger birds. I can perhaps give you a few sten to pick up a few of those. You can send them my way if you need me.
Of course.
My social connections will be limited, I warn you, but I do have friends that live a little bit lower. Believe it or not, I took a little excursion into the heart when I was younger.
Really?
Yes, something of a vacation with my unit. I don't like talking about it.
Oh, no, perfectly understandable. No. My father, he doesn't like talking about his adventures in the hearts either, other than, the specific details. So, yeah, it's fine.
Few do. But, if that's what you need, I'm here for it. Once I relocate, bring your friends. I would like to meet them, and perhaps I can figure out how I can assist.
Will do.
As for now, Reeson, it's good to hear that these are your thoughts, Patroclus. Thank you. So, if you don't want Brine Beater put on this platform, who do you? He smiles. Why, I think it should be quite obvious, Patroclus. There's a visitor that's going to be attending the execution.
Oh.
A visitor I would much rather see on the block. Ah!
Well.
That is an idea.
My. Do you have a plan, Major?
Not yet, but it's formulating. Piece by piece.
And, I know I've been nice, but I will not hesitate to blow your fucking brains out.
That's all right.
Let's get going, shall we? I
yeah,
think I'm good for some ice cream.
Awesome. Ice cream. Here it is. Let's get the hell out of here. I'm sure there's a Sky Dogs Cafe. We can go down there. All right, and and you guys make your way out. Reese parts, says his goodbyes. We'll talk soon.
Sure.
And Reese makes his way out.
I think we're gonna leave in between these scenes. I'm gonna leave a little note for Nocien in the drop spot, the normal drop spot.
Okay.
Telling her PSTH knows.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I'm presuming you're gonna make. It's around that time where if you're gonna attend that service with Arya.
Oh yes.
It's time to go.
Going back, I feel like in between, or of course going back. Of course she's gonna go back to her apartment because she has to meet Arya there. Duh. Yeah, she's going back to the apartment, leaving her hat in her room, not wearing that anymore. And I think she changes her coat too, for once.
Oh man. All right. Yeah. What's this new coat look like?
I think it's just like a nice like reddish brown, just sort of like a detective coat. You know what I mean? Kind of like a trench coat.
Okay.
Sort of understated.
Cool. All right. Character upgrade. Beret crumpled on the desk. Yeah. Coat thrown haphazardly over the shoulder of a chair.
Dude, I think she leaves the coat on the floor.
Oof. And I think by the time you get done, Arya enters the apartment already probably a little tipsy. Oh, are you ready? It's time to go. Service is pretty soon.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Awesome. Oh. You're not wearing that coat?
No, I am not.
All right. Fine. That looks better on you. Come on.
Coming. Yeah, I think she gives one last look at the coat on the floor and the beret on the chair before she leaves.
And you follow Arya. She begins to take you out and lead you not a super far distance away. And yeah, this crowd is beginning to brew. And you see moving amongst them none other than Deacon Polipov. I voiced him at the end of last episode, but I'm not really satisfied with that voice. So I'm going to do a different voice this time. Guys, please, again, don't yell at me.
You're terrible! You're a hack!
I'm sorry. Just imagine it's like Game of Thrones where every other episode, that one guy that's like with Daenerys is played by a different actor. It's like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, now he's going to be a hot Irish guy and you can't stop me.
Ooh, this is an upgrade.
Yeah, I'm telling you, upgrade. He sounded too similar to Titus. So yeah, anyways, Polipov is making his way around. And Polipov, as I've said several times, sort of an indie darling. And he dresses himself as such. He's got a mask that has sort of a beautiful spirals of gold on his cheeks, sort of like pseudo blush. Also sort of, like Jigsaw. And he's got this very subtle, the entirety of his mask is like a painting. It's like a very subtle, like a Bosch, right? Is that right? The one that did Garden of Earthly Delights and all that stuff.
Yeah, like the wacky tribe part.
Yeah, it's just absurd. So at a distance, it just looks like sort of like a beautiful field that just has this sort of these spirals painted on it. But as you get close, yeah, it's imagery from the holy texts of the Solar Church.
Mm.
And on his ears, you can see he's got earrings on earrings on earrings dangling with jewels, and his hair is also braided with jewels dangling over one shoulder. He's got this sort of flowing, cut down like almost to his nipples, deep cut robe that's split on the sides, flowing open, also covered with paintings of flowers and animals crawling up these vines, and just absurdly brightly colored. And he's going around and he's talking to people, and he's making people laugh, and he's doing this sort of, overly social guy at a party sort of thing. And so far you can see there's sort of a pyre set up, but there's not a pole or anything on it. Well, here we are. That's Polipov over there.
Wow, he seems popular.
God, he's hot.
Oh, you think so?
He's fine.
Yeah. Interesting taste.
He's also... he's so freaking smart.
Oh, so I take it you've been attending this guy's sermons or whatever for a while?
Yeah, for a while.
You met him before personally?
Of course, yeah. He tries to talk to as many people as he can.
Oh. What'd you get any good information out of him? Any juicy details or anything like that?
No, don't be a weirdo. He's a priest.
Well, you never know. Priests can be of
I'm
the
not
shady
going to gossip with a deacon. Jeez Louise, you freak. Come on, let's go meet him.
Okay, fine. Fuck you.
Lead you in, snag some, like, complimentary cups of, I mean, it can't be wine, that's just Catholic. What's like, a wacky ale-fear liquor? You know, some sort of fantasy ale-fear, like, it's like a fruit grown only, like, high north in the frost.
They've got some wassail.
Wassail? No, it's like beautiful and thin and clear, blue, like crystal blue, and served in these like elegant little crystal cups. And yeah, grabs a couple of those liquors and hands it to you, and you guys start sipping. And yeah, everybody's congregating around the pyre. They're talking. Some ale-fear musicians in the distance, tooting away. And yeah, eventually Polipov makes his way over.
And how are we doing?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Polipov.
My fellow parishioners.
You feeling good tonight?
And a pleasure to meet you.
I suppose. Yes, I'm doing great. Wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Just making sure everybody's having a good time here.
So, is every one of your little sermons this low-key? This is not usually the vibe I get from these solar basilica warships here in the Spire.
Well, we try to keep things a little bit better for, young folk. Trying to bring people in that aren't exactly old school high north, you know what I'm saying?
So, who may I ask is the person of honor this evening, Mr. Polipov?
Well, funny you ask. Seems we have a bit of a change of cast.
Oh?
Originally, we was just some low-life scum that needed to be reborn into the light of the Pantheon. But, seems as if there was some horrific attack a few streets away up in the Casino Goliath.
Oh, my. What happened?
Some insane old lady called a man down, dragged him out into an alley, chopped his head off, skinned him, hung the skin up over a banner.
After that, the freak hunted down his partner, tried to kill him, failed, luckily apprehended, and after we got a hold of her, we decided instead of putting her in prison, she could just cut in line.
That's horrible. Oh, you said this was an old woman? Oh, Carrion Priest, huh?
Carrion Priest.
What else do you know about her?
Not a lot more than that. Kind of quick change. Wish I could give you a name. We'll get more into that while she's here.
Okay.
Luckily, she'll be waking up to a new dawn.
Under her breath, Willow's like, God, I hope this isn't who I think it is.
And yeah, he kind of nods his head, kind of looks around, looks over to Arya. It's good to see you, Arya. Yeah. It's good to see you too, Deacon Polipov. God, I hope you win the election. Everybody I know is going to be voting for you.
Pathetic.
Thank you.
Brown noser. Pathetic.
And she kicks you in the shin, like so, in the fucking ankle.
Willow elbows her back subtly.
This guy just kind of glazed-eyed, nodding. Well, I'm gonna make my way over. Thank you for showing up tonight, Willow.
Looking forward to it.
And he makes his way. Arya looks around. Well, trying to mingle a little bit. Right. I'll check in a while, okay?
All right. You don't need to check it on me. I'm not a little kid. Go do whatever you do.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I did not want to. And she walks away.
Bye.
And she
Bitch.
throws a hand up, and turns into a middle finger, and then throws the hand down and walks away. Some time passes. Are you doing anything in the meantime before the pole arrives?
I think I'm going to, as neutrally as I can, ask around about the Everqueen's visit.
You know it's going to coincide with the end of the election, and that it's going to coincide with the execution of Brian Beater.
Yeah.
All that's going to be done kind of one big soiree. It's happening in 3 days.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, you managed to find out a little bit of information, kind of poke around. I think that's probably pretty easy to get out of these people.
And Philly, I'm gonna try and get closer to the stake where they're setting it up and see if I can see where the prisoner they're preparing.
Yeah, it's not even there. Yeah,
okay.
There's like a space for a stake, but the stake isn't there.
Oh, okay, all right, gotcha.
So yeah, and then some time passes, but eventually it is. And the worshippers begin to kind of run off in the distance. People lighting torches, specifically bought from priests, when lit, that burn with this beautiful purple flame, edged with yellow. And as they run, lighting the night with this color, it begins to illuminate a massive stake, probably 30 feet up, huge, clearly wicked with some sort of material. And yeah, as it approaches and as the light begins to catch, it's none other than who you thought it was to begin with.
Oh, my bodyguard's grandma!
thank you for listening to episode 11 of Swan Dive. And thank you for putting up with my dang accents in this one. The only episode I have felt implored so far to re-record something. I felt the accent was so bad. If we have any Irish listeners, I am so sorry. Guys, I'm so excited to reach the end of Red Strings next with Orange, and man, does it end with a bang. Then we'll be moving back into regular episodes starting next week. And man, are we excited to get to that. And before you know it, Swan Dive is going to transform entirely. But more on that very, very soon. Safe travels.